Welcome, fellow digital soldiers, to True Reporting. It is the 2nd of August, and on today's podcast, we will be covering 2 articles and some memes to catch us up with what's been going on in the news. Our first article comes at us from The Guardian, and it says here, conspiracy theories like you-know-who could fuel extremist violence, the FBI says. Social media companies could lessen the threat with significant crackdown on related content, the Bureau says. Should YouTubers be worried? Should people on Twitter be worried? Or do you think that this is just fear-mongering? Let me know down below. Also, coming from us from the Epic Times, Cory Booker and other Senate Dems introduced bill to ban the death penalty. Why would they want to ban the death penalty? Because maybe they've done something heinous themselves and they don't want to experience it? I believe that's what it is. Before we get into today's podcast, my friends, would you please welcome my sponsor, Noble Gold. Hi friends, Thomas from True Reporting here. I wanted to tell you about my sponsor, Noble Gold, and what they're doing for the month of August. For the month of August, they are giving away an awesome deal for $25. You can have your choice between one of these 5 awesome US Mint coins with a combination of getting the Trump 2020 coin. These things are beautiful, and a lot of you guys have bought them. And I can promise you this, after we get done winning bigly, these things are going to triple in worth. So go to TrumpCoin2020.com and type in the promo code TRUreporting25 for your discount today. Thanks, friends, and enjoy the podcast. All right, guys, it's good to have you aboard. Let's go ahead and hop into it. This is True Reporting. So again, coming from The Guardian, conspiracy theories like you-know-who could fuel extremist violence, FBI says. Social media companies could lessen the threat with significant crackdown on related content, the Bureau says. So, the FBI has identified prominent conspiracy theories, including the sprawling right-wing hoax known as 17, as motivators for, in quote, domestic extremists to carry out violence in the U.S. The warning comes from an agency bulletin produced by the FBI's Phoenix field office, first reported by Yahoo News. It states that the anti-government, identity-based, and fringe political conspiracy theories very likely motivate some domestic extremists, wholly or in part, to engage in criminal or violent activity. The bulletin warns that, in quotes, certain conspiracy theory narratives tactically support or legitimize violent action, and that, in quotes, some but not all individuals or domestic extremists who hold such beliefs will act on them. It further warns that conspiracy theories will continue to spread and incite violence unless social media companies make significant efforts to remove, regulate, or counter potential harmful conspiratorial content. So, my friends, they're going to come at us even harder. This is what they're doing. If not, then it could be all fear-mongering, but this just adds more and more validity to the movement, right? Trump, our president, needs to step up. He needs to step up and save this, because if YouTube is gone, if these YouTubers on this platform are taken away, then no one's going to know what the heck's going on, because the MSM won't cover this. Also, we always know that conspiracy theorist, that term was created by the CIA to basically blackball people out of anything that is undercover, right? That is actual truth. They blackball them and make them look crazy so that no one believes them. That is absolute truth. Moving forward, we see here, Cory Booker and other Senate Dems introduced bill to ban the death penalty. Oh my God. Democratic senators have introduced a bill to ban the death penalty about a week after the Department of Justice, the DOJ, announced that the federal executions would be resumed following a nearly 2-decade hiatus. Coincidence? I think not. Senators Cory Booker, Dick Durbin, and Patrick Leahy, who are all members of the Senate Judiciary Committee, announced in a statement on July 31st that their proposal legislation would prevent the federal government from using capital punishment. The bill is co-sponsored by other Democratic senators, including 2020 presidential candidate Kamala Harris, Bernie Sanders, Amy Klobuchar, whatever. Meanwhile, Representative Ayanna Pressley, the Democrat of Massachusetts, introduced companion legislation in the House last week. Look at this bum, right? Booker is such an agent. If you don't know this by now, all these people are definitely agents. The Senate bill is in response to the department's move to resume federal capital punishment, which was ordered by Attorney General William Barr on July 25th. Extremely recent. This was less than a week and a half ago. The Attorney General also directed the Federal Bureau of Prisons to schedule the executions of 5 death row inmates convicted of murdering children and the elderly, according to the statement. In quote, under administrations of both parties, the Department of Justice has sought the death penalty against the worst criminals, including these 5 murderers, each of whom was convicted by a jury of his peers after a full and fair proceeding, Barr said in a statement. The Justice Department upholds the rule of law. We owe it to the victims and their families to carry forward the sentence imposed by our justice system. The DOJ's announcement follows the conclusion of an Obama-era review of the lethal injections, which effectively placed a freeze on the death penalty since the start of the review in 2014. Durbin said in the statement that he was concerned by the revelations we have had over the last few decades that led to dozens of exonerations of innocent prisoners who had languished for years on death row, awaiting execution for crimes they didn't commit. Meanwhile, Leahy said in the statement that the death penalty is, in quote, too final and too prone to error. It fails as a deterrent. It is racially biased. Oh my God. And it is beneath us as a nation. Last week, I again sat down with my longtime friend Kirk Bloodsworth. Kirk was in prison for 8 years, including 2 on death row before DNA evidence exonerated him. The DNA testing program named in his honor has exonerated 50 more. The death penalty fails by any objective measure, the Vermont senator said. Kent Schnedeker, the legal director of the Criminal Justice Legal Foundation, a nonprofit public interest law organization, told the Epoch Times he thinks the bill will not go anywhere as a majority of Americans oppose the repeal by a wide margin. Yeah, because we're waking up. And the reason being is because these people have done these heinous crimes that these murderers have done. We all know this. You know who has proven it to us. We know what they're capable of doing, and they're scared of being eliminated through the death penalty, right? Absolutely. According to a recent Marist poll, the PDF of 58% of Americans think abolishing the death penalty is a bad idea compared to 36% who said it was a good idea. The Pew Research Center also found in 2018 that 54% of Americans are in favor of the death penalty for people who are convicted with murder, while 39% opposed. Well, looks like it's bad for you-know-who. So many people, right? So many people have done so many heinous crimes in our government, and I think they will be exposed and they will be erased. The arguments against the death penalty are specious, said Schnedeker, who has written over 150 case briefs in the Supreme Court. They mentioned Kirk Bloodsworth. His case was reversed on the very first review, after which he was sentenced to life in prison and his case was no longer capital. He was never anywhere close to execution. He did not spend a single day in prison that he would not have spent there if Maryland had not had the death penalty at the time. There are no cases of a person actually executed being proved innocent. Remember, again, there are no cases of a person actually executed being proven innocent. None of that has ever happened. So what are these people talking about? They're panicking. That's what they're doing because it's going to happen to them. There's a good reason to believe that an enforced death penalty is a deterrent and saves innocent lives. There is no proof of it. Black murderers are no more likely to be executed than white murderers, he added. Similarly, David Mulhausen, a former senior policy analyst in the Center for Data Analysis at the Heritage Foundation, told a Senate subcommittee in 2007 that there was little evidence to suggest minorities are unfairly treated and that capital punishment can act as a strong deterrent effect that saves lives, while citing a series of studies and data. Over the years, in quotes, several studies have demonstrated a link between executions and decreases in murder rates. In fact, studies done in the recent years using sophisticated panel data methods consistently demonstrate a strong link between executions and reduced murder incidences, Mulhausen said in his testimony. Citing a 2006 study that looked at data from 1977 to 1999. Mulhausen said the researchers found that on an average, each execution is associated with 3 to 3 fewer murderers. Executions deter the murder of white and African Americans, and shorter waits on death row are linked with increased deterrence. Professor Ronald J. Reichlak of Mississippi School of Law told NTD News in a previous interview that although there are people who oppose the death penalty, the executive branch has a duty to follow the laws as they are written. I think the obligation that you look at is the obligation of the government to society, said Reichlak. And part of the society there includes the victims. Wow. So obviously the Dems are panicking. They know what they've done. And it's not just the Dems. There's a lot of bad people out there. CEOs, even Republicans, so on and so forth. They've done a lot of bad things and they will pay for their crimes. From Kaya Jones, we see here, just an observation. There's no American flags on the stage, however. There is what appears to be the EU flag above the candidates during the debates. Absolutely. This is insane. Why are there no American flags? Why are these people so against America? It's so strange. It makes me sick to my stomach. I don't waste my time watching that because it would probably just make me angry. We can see here from Jordan Sather. When Trump says we're going to Mars and we're going to cure cancer, as if they're going to happen in the future, he's saying this because he knows that it's already possible. They've already been done. He knows the deep state has hidden it, and he's working to disclose these things. And if you didn't know, last night he definitely brought this up during the rally. Let's take a look at this clip real fast.
The things we're doing in our country today, there's never been anything like it. We will be ending the AIDS epidemic shortly in America and curing childhood cancer very shortly.
And last but not least, to round off the podcast, this is huge. From Donald Trump Jr., we see here, retweeted, Ryan Saavedra. New, the FBI document warns conspiracy theories, specifically Q, are a new domestic terrorism threat news, yahoo.com. Donald Trump Jr. retweeted this knowing that that word was in there and said, now do Antifa, right? Right? That is huge. That is very significant. If this isn't a Q proof, I don't know what is. And that's it for the podcast, my friends. If you found this intriguing and enjoyable, please subscribe to my channel. You can follow me on Twitter at TRUreporting. Don't forget to leave a like. The more likes that this video receives, the more times it is recommended to other viewers, thus more eyes on the truth. You can also donate to this channel by going to my PayPal or Patreon in the description box below. We also have a P.O. box and TRUreporting merch. Friends, be loving and kind to one another out there, and we will speak with you very soon. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.